Your source outside my sycamore tree, sing Lord, a green willow. Her head on her bosom, her head on her knees, sing willow, willow, willow. The fresh streams run by her, and murmur, sing willow, willow, willow. The salt is for summer and soften the stone, sing willow, willow, willow. Really high thee, you come on, sing all the green willow must be my darling, let nobody blame in this storm I approve.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for the second weekend of May. We have with us today myself, John, Robert, Ted, Bill, Brannon, Henry, and Maggie are here to perform randomly chosen monologues and scenes for everybody today. Based on the randomly determined order that we did in advance, Maggie is going to perform first. Bill, so Bill is on deck, first Maggie. Let me bring up, let me get the wheel into the stream here. We'll spin for her and get Maggie, add Maggie. Okay, so here's the wheel of Shakespeare monologues. And here is Maggie. Okay, spinning for Maggie. Maggie is going to start us off by performing King Henry upon the King.
Well, give me a second because I had not pulled up MIT yet. All right, Henry V, Act 4, Scene 1. Okay.
Yeah, Act 4, Scene 1.
Act 4, Scene 1, and it's down a ways. It doesn't have line numbers on MIT, but
toward the very end.
Oh, I see. Okay. Oh, it's a long one.
Yeah.
So if a son? No, that can't be it.
No, that's the dialogue.
Oh, I see it. Okay. Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go.
Ready. Okay. Upon the King, let us our lives, our souls, our debts, our careful wives, our children, and our sins lay on the King. We must bear all. Oh, hard condition, twin-born with greatness, subject to the breath of every fool whose senses no more can feel but his own ringing. What infinite heart's ease must kings neglect that private men enjoy? And what have kings that have private lives? Do save ceremony, save general ceremony. And what art thou, thou idle ceremony? What kind of God art thou that sufferest more of mortal griefs than do thy worshippers? What are thy rents? What are thy comings in? Oh, ceremony, show me but thy worth. What is thy soul of adoration? Art thou aught else but place, degree, and form, creating awe and fear in other men? Wherein thou art less happy being feared than they in fearing? What drinkst thou oft instead of homage sweet, but poisoned flattery? Oh, be sick, great greatness, and bid thy ceremony give thee cure. Thinkst thou the fiery fever will go out with titles blown from adulation? Will it give place to flexure and low bending? Canst thou, when thou commandst the beggar's knee, command the health of it? No, thou proud dream, that playest so subtly with a king's repose. I am a king that find thee, and I know 'tis not the balm, the scepter and the ball, the sword, the mace, the crown imperial, the intertissued robe of gold and pearl, the farce title running for the king, the throne he sits on, nor the tide of pomp that beats upon the high shore of this world. No, not all these, thrice gorgeous ceremony, not all these, laid in bed majestical, can sleep so soundly as the wretched slave, who with a body filled and with vacant mind gets him to rest, crammed with distressful bread. Never sees horrid night, the child of hell, but like a lackey, from the rise to set, sweats in the eye of Phoebus, and all night sleeps in Elysium. Next day after dawn doth rise and help Hyperion to his horse, and follows the ever-running year with profitable labor to his grave. And but for ceremony, such a wretch, winding up days with toil and nights with sleep, had the forehand and vantage of a king. The slave, a member of the country's peace, enjoys it, but in gross brain little wots what watch the king keeps to maintain the peace, whose hours the peasant best advantages.
Okay, very nice. So while you were performing, just so everyone, Tim joined us. So we're glad that he was here with us the first time last week. We're glad he's back. He's a good addition to our group, and he is on the list. He's based on the random order. He's not till towards the end, but just wanted to acknowledge that he's here. That I see him. So again, I said that Bill was up next, and I'm on deck. I will go after Bill. But first, Bill, where are you, Bill? There you are. Bill is going to perform. Lear. If I recall correctly, this is one where some of the other characters do interject some lines, and you can just kind of ignore those. The continuity going of the rant. The monologue.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay. So whenever you're ready, go for it.
Blow and crack your cheeks. Rage, blow. You cataracts and hurricanos, spout till you quenched our steeples, drowned the cocks. You sufferous and thought-executing fires, vaunt couriers to oak-cleaving thunderbolts. Singe my white head, and thou, all shaking thunder, smite flat the thick rotundity of the world. Crack nature's moles and German spill at once that make ingrateful man. Rumble thy belly full, spit fire, spout rain. Nor rain, wind, thunder, fire are my daughters. I tax not you, you elements, with unkindness. I never gave you kingdom, called you children. You owe me no subscription. Then let fall your horrible pleasure. Here I stand, your slave, a poor, infirm, weak, and despised old man. But yet I call you servile ministers that have with two pernicious daughters joined your high engendered battles against a head so old and white as this. No, 'tis foul. Scene.
Okay, great. So I'm up next. Let's see, Ted, you're on deck. You'll go after me after I perform. Falstaff. I've done this one before. A couple of us have. But Okay, so Prince Henry just told me I owe God a death. But I do owe God a death, but 'tis not due yet. I would be loath to pay him before his day. What need I be so forward with him that calls not on me? Well, 'tis no matter. Honor pricks me on. Yea, but how if honor prick me off when I come on? How then? Can honor set to a leg? No. Or an arm? No. Or take away the grief of a wound? No. Honor hath no skill in surgery then? No. What is honor? A word. What is in that word honor? What is that honor, sir? A trim reckoning. Who hath it? He that died o' Wednesday. Doth he feel it? No. Doth he hear it? No. 'Tis insensible then. Yea, to the dead. But will it not live with the living? No. Why, detraction will not suffer it. Therefore I'll none of it. Honor is a mere scutcheon. And so ends my catechism. Thank you. That one was a lot of fun. Okay, Ted, you're up. Henry is on deck. Where's Ted? There you are. Ed, I don't think I've seen you the last couple of weeks. We're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
So you will be spinning for Ted. John of God. He thinks I'm a
2, 1.
Act 2, Scene 1.
Richard 2. Okay.
Okay. Go.
Methinks I am a prophet new inspired, and thus expiring do foretell of him. His rash, fierce blaze of riot cannot last, for violent fires soon burn out themselves. Small showers last long, but sudden storms are short. He tires betimes that spurs too fast betimes. With eager feeding food doth choke the feeder. Light vanity, insatiate cormorant, consuming means, soon preys upon itself. This royal throne of kings, this sceptred isle, this earth of majesty, this seat of Mars, this other Eden, demi-paradise, this fortress built by nature for herself against infection and the hand of war, this happy breed of men, this little world, this precious stone set in the silver sea, which serves it in the office of a wall, or as a moat defensive to a house, against the envy of less happier lands. This blessed plot, this earth, this realm, this England, this nurse, this teeming womb of royal kings, feared by their breed and famous by their birth, renowned for their deeds as far from home, for Christian service and true chivalry, as is the sepulchre and stubborn Jewry of the world's ransom, Blessed Mary's Son, this land of such dear souls, this dear, dear land, dear for her reputation through the world, is now leased out. I die pronouncing it. like to a tenement or pelting farm. England, bound in with the triumphant sea, whose rocky shore beats back the envious siege of watery Neptune, is now bound in with shame, with inky blots and rotten parchment bonds. That England that was wont to conquer others hath made a shameful conquest of itself. Ah, would the scandal vanish with my life, how happy then were my ensuing death. Scene.
Okay.
Awesome.
So, let's see. Who's up? Henry is up and Robert is on deck. We'll go after Henry. After Henry performs, spin the wheel. Oh, hateful hands, Julia, from Two Gentlemen. Sorry.
2.
Act 1, Scene 2. I believe it's the end of the scene.
Does it start, nay, would I were so angered? Oh, yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Okay.
What happened before? What happens in this? Can you give me a very quick idea of what happens in the scene?
This is the scene where she's just ripped up Proteus's letter, and then she's hateful hand. She tries to put the letter back together, so forth, because she tore it up in front of Lucetta and didn't want to admit that she was in love with him as well.
Oh, okay, right. Oh, hateful hands, to tear such loving words, injurious wasps to feed on such sweet honey and kill the bees that yield it with your stings. I'll kiss each several paper for amends. Oh, look, here is writ, kind Julia, unkind Julia, as in revenge of thy ingratitude, I throw thy name against the bruising stones, trampling contemptuously on thy disdain. And here is writ, love, wounded Proteus, poor wounded name. My bosom as a bed shall lodge thee till thy wound be thoroughly healed. And thus I search it with a sovereign kiss. But twice or thrice was Proteus written down. Be calm, good wind, blow not a word away till I have found each letter in the letter except mine own name, that some whirlwind bear unto the ragged, fearful, hanging rock, and throw it thence into the raging sea. Lo, here, in one line, is his name twice writ, poor, forlorn Proteus, passionate Proteus to the sweet Julia. That I'll tear away, and yet I will not sit so prettily he couples it to his complaining names. Thus will I fold them one on another. Now kiss, embrace, contend, do what you will.
Okay, great. So up next we have Robert, and then our newest member Tim is on deck. We'll go after him. So Robert is first going to do. I left no ring with her.
So that's 2-2-15.
Yeah, 2-2, about 15 lines in.
Right.
Sometimes those line numbers are not quite accurate.
No, I've got it. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
I left no ring with her. What means this lady? Fortune forbid, my outside hath not charmed her. She made good view of me, indeed, so much that sure methought her eyes had lost her tongue, for she did speak in starts distractedly. She loves me. Sure. The cunning of her passion invites me in this churlish messenger. None of my lord's ring, why he sent her none. I am the man. If it be so as 'tis, poor lady, she were better love a dream. Disguise, I see. Thou art a wickedness, wherein the pregnant enemy does much. How easy is it for the proper false and women's waxen hearts to set their forms? Alas, our frailty is the cause, not we. For such as we are made of, such we be. How will this fadge? My master loves her dearly, and I, poor monster, fond as much on him, and she, mistaken, seems to dote on me. What will become of this? As I am man, my state is desperate for my master's love, as I am woman now. Alas the day, what thriftless sighs shall poor Olivia breathe? O time, thou must untangle this, not I. It is too hard a knot for me to untie. Scene.
Okay, great. All right, so last people to perform, we still have Tim, then Brannon, then John, and then we'll spin for what scenes we're going to end up assigning in the opposite order that people perform. So Tim, you're up, and you will be performing... Duke Senior, Now My Brothers and Co-Mates in Exile. Act 2, As You Like It, Act 2, Scene 1. I believe that's the opening of the scene.
Yep, got it.
Give me a second to create your banner and you center stage. And whenever you're ready, Duke Senior, take it.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath not old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference, the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, even till I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me who I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which, like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it. Scene.
Okay, great. I didn't remember that one being as short as that. I was thinking you had more, but what you did do was still very, very, very good. So lastly, we have Brannon, then John. Brannon is here. You're up, and you will be doing... Hey, Margaret. Let's see Margaret from Richard III, Act 1, Scene 3, which is probably better called former Queen Margaret.
Hope this comes up. Sorry. Act 1, Scene 3. Okay.
I believe it starts with what? You're
I
snarling.
got it.
Okay, so
And lesson be that small God, I beseech thee. Thy honor, state, and seat is due to me. Oh, devil! I remember them too well. Thou slewest my husband Henry in the Tower, and Edward my poor son at Tewkesbury. Yea, and much better blood than his or thine. A murderous villain. And so thou art! Which God revenge. Hie thee to hell for shame, and leave the world, thou carco demon. Here thy kingdom is. As a little joy in Jean enjoys the queen thereof. For I am she, and altogether joyless, I can no longer hold me patient. Hear me, you wrangling pirates that fall out in sharing that which you have pilled from me. Which of you trembles? Not that looks on me. If not, that I, being queen, you bow like subjects. Yet that, by you disposed, you quake like rebels. Oh, gentle villain, do not turn away. But repetition of what thou hast marred, thou wilt make before I let thee go. I was. But I do find more pain and banishment than death can yield me here by abode. A husband and a son thou owest to me, and thou a kingdom, all of you allegiance. The sorrow that I have by right is yours, and all the pleasures you usurp are mine. See.
hey, very powerful. So we have John is going to do our last monologue before we spin for some randomly chosen scenes. And John is going to do... Wild card. You can do what you like. I think you spun wild card before and you passed. You didn't want. Is that? Or
No. It was a slightly different situation where I kind of co-opted somebody else's.
Oh yeah.
But so, I would like the wild card.
Yeah. Go.
Okay. So let me see. It's going to be. I'm going to do this one that I've been kind of working on.
Who is the character?
Okay, it's Gloucester, Henry VI.
Okay. Richard, Duke of Gloucester.
Actually, let me see here. I can get that a different way. Let me get it this way. And then I'll give you the thing here. Okay, Henry VI, Part 3, Act 3, Scene 2.
Okay.
Oh, all right. I, Edward, will use women honorably. Would he were wasted marrow, bones, and all, that from his loins no hopeful branch may spring to cross me from the golden time I look for. And yet, between my soul's desire and me, the lustful Edward's title buried, is Clarence, Henry, and his son young Edward, and all the unlooked-for issue of their bodies to take their rooms ere I can place myself. A cold premeditation for my purpose. Why then, I do but dream on sovereignty, like one that stands upon a promontory and spies afar off shore where he would tread, wishing his foot were equal with his eye, and chides the sea that sunders him from thence, saying he'll lade it dry to have his way. So do I wish the crown, being so far off. And so I chide the means that keeps me from it, and so I say, I'll cut the causes off, flattering me with impossibilities. My eyes too quick, my heart o'erweens too much, unless my hand and strength could equal them. Well, say there is no kingdom then for Richard. What other pleasure can the world afford? I'll make my heaven in a lady's lap, and deck my body in gay ornaments, and witch sweet ladies with my words and looks. Oh, miserable thought! More unlikely than to accomplish 20 golden crowns. Why, love forswore me in my mother's womb, and for I should not deal in her soft laws, she did corrupt frail nature with some bribe to shrink mine arm up like a withered shrub, to make an envious mountain on my back where sits deformity to mock my body, to shape my legs of an unequal size, to disproportion me in every part like to a chaos, or an unlicked bare whelp that carries no impression like the dam. And am I then a man to be beloved? Oh, monstrous fault, to harbor such a thought. Then, since this earth affords no joy to me, but to command, to check, to o'erbear such as are a better person than myself, I'll make my heaven to dream upon the crowd. And whiles I live, to account this world but hell, until my misshaped trunk that bears this head be round impaled with a glorious crown. And yet I know not how to get the crown, for many lives stand between me and home, and I, like one lost in a thorny wood, that rends the thorns and is rent with the thorns, seeking a way and straying from the way, not knowing how to find the open air, but toiling desperately to find it out, torment myself to catch the English crown, and from that torment I will free myself or hew my way out with a bloody axe. Why, I can smile and murder whiles I smile, and cry content to that which grieves my heart, and wet my cheeks with artificial tears, and frame my phasions to all occasions. I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall. I'll slay more gazers than the basilisk. I'll play the orator as well as Nestor, deceive more slyly than Ulysses could, and like a Sinon take another Troy. I can add colors to the chameleon, change shapes with Proteus for advantages, and set the murderous Machiel to school. Can I do this, and cannot get a crown? Tut, were it farther off, I'd pluck it down. Thank you. Scene.
Wow, that is such a great monologue, and it's interesting. So great that as popular as the play Richard III is, people that haven't seen the in sequence and stuff before often miss that. That's why it was very interesting that Olivier made the choice of in his film 1955 film version to put some parts from the Henry VI trilogy into Richard III. A lot of stuff from that one that we just saw John perform is in Olivier's version, and which is a smart choice because it's such a powerful monologue, as John just showed us. Okay, so great job everybody today with the monologues. Now let's see so we got to get roles for 9 of us that we'll choose in the reverse order that we were formed. So the short scenes we're going to do will be, first we have a balcony scene. Romeo and Juliet, balcony scene. What could be more famous than that? Antony and Cleopatra. That I know that's wrong. That's the wrong act and scene number. I'm going to remove that. Let's say since I spun that right now, I'm going to put that on the agenda for next week, because that's the one where I had to edit it together and to cut out some other lines, so it's just the 2 of them. But since it was spun, I'll just I'll try to remind me if I forget. That's one that we'll do next week when I'll have had time to send the edited version out to everybody to look at. But let me spin again for today's performance. Cassius and Brutus, Caesar, Act 1, Scene 2. Cassius and Brutus. I think that's the scene where they're first starting to discuss their plots. Okay, Much Ado About Nothing. This is the 3 villains. So Don John, Conrad, and Baraccio. So we need 2 more. All's Well That Ends Well, the Countess and Helena. You know what? Correct me if I'm. I think we just did this. It should have been. It should not still be on the wheel. It should have been taken. If I'm wrong and I'm thinking of the wrong scene, let me know and I'll put it back. We'll do that next week as well. But I think we did this one too recently. So let me spin again. Oh, this is another one I just added to the wheel, but since we this is with 3 players and we only have 2 people left that we need roles for, so let me again. Sorry about the spins that are going bad here. Winter's Leontes and Camillo. I think this is when he's first when he first thinks that his best friend is sleeping with his wife, and he's telling Camillo about it. So okay, so we got the nine roles for 9 players. We have Romeo, Juliet in balcony scene. We have Cassius and Brutus in Act 1, Scene 2 of Julius Caesar. We have Don John, Conrad, and Baraccio in Much Ado About Nothing, Act 1, Scene 3. And then we have Leontes and Camillo in Act 1, Scene 2 of The Winter's Tale. So of those 9 roles, John did the last monologue, so he gets the first choice of those roles. What would you like, John?
Cassius.
Cassius. Brannon chooses next.
I'll do Julia.
Juliet?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And Tim?
How about Leontes?
Leontes. Robert.
I'll take Brutus.
Robert will be Brutus. Henry, what would you like?
Romeo, please.
Ed, what would you like?
Was Brutus taken?
Yeah, Robert just took Brutus.
Oh, because my audio is not good here. Was Leontes or Camillo taken?
Leontes was, but Camillo is open.
Okay, Camillo.
Okay. So right now we just have the three villains and Much Ado About Nothing. It's my turn. I will take. I'll take Don John. So we have Conrad and Borachio. Bill and Maggie. Bill, you want Conrad or Borachio?
Borachio, please.
Borachio. And so that leaves Conrad, or Maggie will be Conrad. And it's like Elizabeth just, Eleanor just joined us. We've assigned the roles, but will remind me, let her come on for a monologue after we've done these 4 scenes. So let's see, one, keep that banner for these 2. Henry and Brent. You're both ready to go?
Yeah.
Actually, hold on. Let me be more specific in the banner.
I just start when we're ready. Are we ready?
Just
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks? It is the east, and Juliet is the sun. Arise, fair sun, and kill the envious moon, who is already sick and pale with grief, that thou, her maid, art far more fair than she. Be not her maid, since she is envious. Her vestal livery is but sick and green, and none but fools do wear it. Cast it off. It is my lady. Oh, it is my love. Oh, that she knew she were. She speaks, yet she says nothing. What of that? Her eye discourses. I will answer it. Oh, I am too bold. 'Tis not to me she speaks. 2 of the fairest stars in all the heaven have some business to entreat your eyes to twinkle in their spheres till they return. What if her eyes were there, they in her head? The brightness of her cheek would shame those stars, as daylight doth the lamp. Her eyes in heaven would through the airy region stream so bright the birds would sing and think it were not night. Oh, see how she leans, her cheek upon her hand. Oh, that I were a glove upon that hand, that I might touch that cheek.
me.
Oh, she speaks. Oh, speak again, bright angel. For thou art as glorious to this night, being o'er my head as a winged messenger of heaven unto the white, upturned, wondering eyes of mortals that fall back to gaze on him when he bestrides the lazy pacing clouds and sails upon the bosom of the air.
Oh, Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father, and refuse thy name, or if thou wilt not, be but sworn my love, and I'll no longer be a Capulet.
Oh, shall I hear more, or shall I speak at this?
Oh, 'tis but thy name that is my enemy. Thou art thyself, though not a Montague. What's Montague? It is not hand, nor foot, nor arm, nor face, nor any other part belonging to a man. be some other name. That which we call a rose, would by any other name would smell as sweet, so Romeo would, were he not Romeo called, retain that dear perfection which he owes without that title. Romeo, doff thy name, and for that name which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I'll be new baptized. Henceforth I never will be Romeo.
What man art thou that but thus be screened in night, so stumblest on my counsel?
By a name I know not how to tell thee who I am. My name, dear saint, is hateful to myself because it is an enemy to thee. Had I it written, I would tear the word.
My ears have not yet drunk 100 words of that tongue's utterance, yet I know the sound. Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither, fair saint, if either thee dislike.
Oh, how camest thou thither? Tell me, and wherefore? The orchard walls are high and hard to climb, and the place death, considering who thou art. If any of my kinsmen find me here,
with love's light wings did I perch these walls, for stony limits cannot hold love out, and what love can do that dares love attempt? Therefore thy kinsmen are no let to me.
If they do see thee, they will murder thee.
Alack, there lies more peril in thine eye than 20 of their swords. Look thou but sweet, and I am proof against their enmity.
I would not for the world they saw thee here.
I have night's cloak to hide me from their sight, and but thou love me, let them find me here. My life were better ended by their hate than death prorogued, wanting of thy love.
By whose direction foundest thou out this place?
By love, who first did prompt me to inquire. He lent me counsel, and I lent him eyes. I am no pilot, yet wert thou as far as that vast shore washed with the farthest sea, I would adventure for such merchandise.
Oh. Thou knowest the mask of night is on my face, else would a maiden blush bepaint my cheek. For that which thou hast heard me speak tonight, fain would I dwell unformed, fain deny. But I spoke. But farewell compliment. Dost thou love me? Oh. I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thy word. Yet if thou swearest, they mayest prove false. As lovers' perjuries then say, Jove laughs. Oh, gentle Romeo, if thou dost love, pronounce it faithfully. Or if thou thinkest I am too quickly won, I'll frown and be perverse and say thee nay. So thou wilt woo. But else not for the world. In truth, fair Montague, I am too fond. And therefore thou mayest think my behavior light. But trust me, gentlemen, I'll prove more true than those who have the cunning to be strange. I should have more, I must confess, but thou that overhearest ere I was ware my true love's passion, therefore pardon me, and not impute this yielding to light love, which the dark night hath so discovered.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon, I swear that tips with silver all these fruit tree tops.
Oh, swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon that changes in her circled orb. lest that thou love prove likewise variable.
What shall I swear by?
Do not swear at all. Or if thou wilt, swear by thy gracious self, which is the God of my idolatry, and I'll believe thee.
If my heart's dear love.
Well, do not swear. Although in joy I thee, I have no joy of this contract tonight. It is too rash, too unadvised, too sudden, too like the lightning which doth cease to be ere one can say, it lightens. Sweet, good night. This bud of light by summer's ripening breath may prove a beauteous flower when next we meet. Good night. Good night. My sweet repose and rest come to thy heart as that within my breast.
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have tonight?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vow for mine.
Oh, I gave thee mine before thou didst request it, and yet I would it were to give again.
Wouldst thou withdraw it? For what purpose, love?
But to be frank, and give it thee again. And yet I wish for all the thing I have. My bounty is as boundless as the sea. My love is deep. The more I give to thee, the more I have. Both are infinite. I hear some noise within. Dear love, adieu. Anon, good nurse. Sweet Montague, be true. Stay but a little. I will come again.
Oh, blessed night, I am afeard. Being in night, all this is but a dream, too flattering, sweet to be substantial.
3 words, dear Romeo, and good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage, send me word tomorrow that one that I'll procure to come to thee, where and what time thou wilt perform the rite. And all my fortunes at thy foot I'll lay, and follow thee, my lord, throughout the world. I come anon. But if thou meanest not well, I do beseech thee. By and by I come, to cease thy suit, and leave me to my grief. Tomorrow will I send.
So thrive my soul.
Oh, 1,000 times good night.
Oh, 1,000 times the worse to want thy light. Love goes toward love as schoolboys from their books, but love from love toward school with heavy looks.
Oh, hist! Romeo, hist! Oh, for a falconer's voice to lure this tassel gentle back again. Bondage is hoarse and may not quick aloud. Else would I tear the cave where echo lies and make her airy tongue more hoarse than mine with repetition of my Romeo's name.
Which is my soul that calls upon my name. How silver sweet sound lovers' tongues by night like softest music to attending ears.
Romeo,
My dear,
at what o'clock tomorrow shall I send to thee?
at the hour of 9.
I will not fail. 'Tis 20 years till then. I have forgot what I did call thee back.
Let me stand here till thou remember it.
I shall forget to have thee still stand there, remembering how I love thy company.
And I'll still stay to have thee still forgetting any other home but this.
'Tis almost morning. I would have thee gone, and yet no further than a wanton bird who lets it hop a little from her hand like a poor prisoner in his twisted guise, and with a silk thread plucks it back again, so loving jealous of his liberty.
I would I were thy bird.
Oh, sweet, so would I. Yet I would kill thee with much cherishing. Good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow, but I shall say good night till it be morrow.
Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Would I were sleep and peace so sweet to rest. Hence will I to my ghostly father's cell, his help to crave, and my dear hap to tell.
Beautiful. So now we have Cassius and we have John and Robert are going to do Cassius and Brutus. Have you both found the starting point for that?
I have.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Will you go see the order of the course?
Not I.
I pray you, do.
I am not gamesome. I do lack some part of that quick spirit that is in Antony. Let me not hinder, Cassius, your desires. I'll leave you.
Brutus, I do observe you now of late. I have not from your eyes that gentleness and show of love as I was wont to have. You bear too stubborn and too strange a hand over your friend that loves you.
Cassius, be not deceived. If I have veiled my look, I turn the trouble of my countenance merely upon myself. Vexed I am of late with passions of some difference, conceptions only proper to myself, which give some soil perhaps to my behaviors. But let not therefore my good friends be grieved, among which number, Cassius, be you one, nor construe any further my neglect than that poor Brutus, with himself at war, forgets the shows of love to other men.
Then, Brutus, I have much mistook your passion. By means whereof this breast of mine hath buried thoughts of great value, worthy cogitations. Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face?
No, Cassius, for the eye sees not itself, but by reflection, by some other things.
'Tis just. And it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye, that you might see your shadow. I have heard, were many of the best respect in Rome, that immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me?
Therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear. And since you know you cannot see yourself as well as my reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover it to yourself, that of yourself which you yet know not of. And be not jealous on me, gentle Brutus. Were I a common laugher, or did use to stale with ordinary oaths my love to every new protester, if you know that I do fawn on men and hug them hard and after scandal them, or if you know that I profess myself in banqueting to all the rout, then hold me dangerous.
What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Aye, you do fear it? Then must I think you would not have it so.
I would not, Cassius, yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? What is it that you would impart to me? If it be aught toward the general good, set honor in one eye and death in the other, I will look on both indifferently. For let the gods so speed me, as I love the name of honor more than I fear death.
I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus, as well as I do know your outward favor. Well, honor is the subject of my story. I cannot tell you and other men think of this life, but for my single self, I had as lief not to be lived to be in awe of such a thing as myself. I was born free as Caesar. So were you. We both fed as well, and we can both endure the winter's cold as well as he. For once, upon a raw and gusty day, the troubled Tiber chafing with her shores, Caesar said to me, "Dearest thou, Cassius, now leap in with me in this angry flood, and swim to yonder point." Upon the word, accoutred as I was, I plunged and bade him follow. So indeed he did. The torrent roared, and we did buffet it with lusty sinews, throwing it aside and streaming with hearts of controversy. But ere we could arrive the point proposed, Caesar cried, "Help me, Cassius, or I sink." I, as Aeneas, our great ancestor, did from the flames of Troy upon the shoulder the old Anchises bear, so from the waves of Tiber did I tired Caesar. And this man is now become a god, and Cassius is a wretched creature and must bend his body, if Caesar carelessly but nod on him. Had I a fever when he was in Spain, and when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake. 'Tis true, this god did shake. His coward lips did from their color fly, and that same eye whose bend doth awe the world did lose his lustre. I did hear him groan, and that the tongue of his that bade the Romans mark him and write his speeches in their books, alas, it cried, "Give me some drink, Titinius," as a sick girl. Yea, gods, it doth amaze me a man of such feeble temper should so get the start of the magic world and bear the palm alone.
Another general shout. I do believe that these applauses are for some new honors that are heaped on Caesar.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonorable graves. Men at some time are masters of their fates. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings, Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together, yours is as fair a name. Sound them, it doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them, it is as heavy. Conjure with them, Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar. Now, in the names of all gods at once, upon what meat doth our Caesar feed, that he has grown so great? Age, thou art shamed. Rome, thou hast lost the breed of noble bloods. When went there by an age since the great flood, but it was famed with more than one man. When could they say till now that talked of Rome, that her wide walls encompass but one man? Now it is Rome indeed, and room enough, when there is in it but one only man. Oh, you and I have heard our fathers say, there was a Brutus once there would have brooked the eternal devil to keep his state in Rome, as easily as a king.
That you do love me, I am nothing jealous. What you would work me to, I have some aim. How I have thought of this and of these times, I shall recount hereafter. For this present, I would not, so with love I might entreat you, be any further moved. What you have said I will consider. What you have to say I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. Till then, my noble friend, chew upon this. Brutus had rather be a villager than to repute himself a son of Rome under these hard conditions as this time is like to lay upon us.
I am glad that my weak words have struck but this much show of fire from Brutus.
The games are done, and Caesar is returning.
As they pass by, pluck Casca by the sleeve, and he will, after his sour fashion, tell you what hath proceeded worthy note today.
I will do so, but look you, Cassius, the angry spot doth glow on Caesar's brow, and all the rest look like a chidden train. Calpurnia's cheek is pale, and Cicero looks with such ferret and such fiery eyes as we have seen him in the Capitol, being crossed in conference by some senators.
Casca will tell us what the matter is. Scene, I think.
Okay, very nice. So now we have the Much Ado About Nothing scene, and it's going to be myself, and then we had as Don John, and then we had Maggie was going to be. It looks she had to leave us, unfortunately. The good news is that Eleanor, who got left out by
Conrad
being,
has no lines that I can see.
what's that?
Much Ado, Act 2, Scene 2?
No. It's Act 1, Scene 3. It starts with Don John and Conrad, and then Baraccio enters. Yeah, I'm maybe I said the wrong scene. That might be my fault. But because Bill was asking the same thing. He said, but if you see it, it's the whole scene. It's a short one. Act 1, Scene 3. It starts with just Don John and Conrad, and then Baraccio enters. So we're all clear on that.
Okay.
So, okay, so I'll take Bill out because he joins the scene later. I'll add him to the stream when Baraccio enters. And have you found the scene, Eleanor?
Yes.
Okay, so you start us off.
What the good year, my lord? Why are you thus out of measure sad?
There is no measure in the occasion that breeds. Therefore, the sadness is without limit.
You should hear reason.
And when I have heard it, what blessings brings it?
If not a present remedy, at least a patient sufferance.
I wonder that thou, being as thou sayest thou art, born under Saturn, goest about to apply a moral medicine to a mortifying mischief. I cannot hide what I am. Must be sad when I have cause, and smile at no man's jests. Eat when I have stomach, and wait for no man's leisure. Sleep when I am drowsy, and tend on no man's business. Laugh when I am merry, and claw no man in his humor.
Yes, but you must not make the full show of this till you may do it without controlment. You have of late stood out against your brother, and he hath taken you newly into his grace, where it is impossible you should take true root, but by the fair weather that you make yourself. It is needful that you frame the season for your own harvest.
I'd rather be a canker in a hedge than a rose in his grace. And it better fits my blood to be disdained of all than to fashion a carriage to rob love from any. In this, though I cannot be said to be a flattering honest man, I must not be denied, but I am a plain-dealing villain. I am trusted with a muzzle and enfranchised with a clog. Therefore, I have decreed not to sing in my cage. If I had my mouth, I would bite. If I had my liberty, I would do my liking. Meantime, let me be that I am, and seek not to alter me.
Can you make no use of your discontent?
I make all use of it, for I use it only. Who comes here? What news, Baraccio?
I came yonder from a great supper. The prince, your brother, is royally entertained by Leonardo, and I can give you intelligence of an intended marriage.
Will it serve for any model to build mischief on? What is he for a fool that betroths himself to unquietness?
Mary, it is your brother's right hand.
The most exquisite Claudio?
Even he.
Proper squire. And who? Which way looks he?
Mary on Hero, daughter and heir of Leonardo.
A very forward march chick. How came you to this?
Being entertained for a fumer as smoking musty room comes me the prince and Claudio, hand in hand in sad conference. I wit me behind the arras, and there heard it agreed upon that the prince should woo Hero for himself, and having obtained her, give her to Count Claudio.
Come, let us thither. This may prove food to my displeasure. That young startup hath all the glory of my overthrow. If I can cross him in any way, I bless myself every way. You are both sure you will assist me?
To the death, my lord.
Let us to the great supper. Their cheer is the greater that I am subdued. Would the cook were of my mind. Shall we go prove what's to be done?
We'll wait upon your lordship.
Okay, was fun, short but sweet. And lastly, and then we'll come back to do Eleanor to do her monologue that we missed the first time. Tim and Ted to be Leontes and Camillo. You're both ready to go? Okay.
Camillo, this great sir will stay yet longer.
You had much ado to make his anchor hold. When you cast out, it still came whole.
Didst note it?
He would not stay at your petitions, made his business more material.
Didst perceive it? They're here with me already, whispering, rounding Cecilia's and so forth. 'Tis far gone, when I shall dust it last. How came to Camillo that he did stay?
At the good queen's entreaty.
At the queen's be it. Good should be pertinent, but so it is not. Was this taken by any understanding pate but thine? For thy conceit is soaking, will draw in more than the common blocks, not noted is't, but of the finer natures, by some severals of headpiece extraordinary. Lower messes, perchance, are to this business purblind. Say.
Business, my lord. I think most understand Bohemia stays here longer.
Ha!
Stays here longer.
Aye, but why?
To satisfy your highness and the entreaties of our most gracious mistress.
Satisfy? The entreaties of your mistress? Satisfy? Let that suffice. I have trusted thee, Camillo, with all the nearest things to my heart, as well as my chamber councils, wherein, priest-like, thou hast cleansed my bosom. I from thee departed thy penitent reformed, but we have been deceived in thy integrity, deceived in that which seems so.
Be it forbid, my lord.
To bide upon't, thou art not honest, or if thou inclinest that way, thou art a coward, which hawks his honesty behind, restraining from course required, or else thou must be counted a servant grafted in my serious trust, and therein negligent, or else a fool that seest a game played home, the rich stake drawn, and takes it all for jest.
My gracious lord, I may be negligent, foolish, and fearful. In every one of these no man is free, but that is negligence, is folly, fear, among the infinite doings of the world, sometime puts forth. In your affairs, my lord, if ever I were willful negligent, it was my folly. If industriously I played the fool, it was my negligence. Not weighing well the end, if ever fearful to do a thing where I the issue doubted, where of the execution did cry out against the non-performance, 'twas a fear which oft infects the wisest. These, my lord, are such allowed infirmities that honesty is never free of. But beseech your grace, be plainer with me. Let me know my trespass by its own visage. If I then deny it, 'tis none of mine.
Have you not seen, Camillo? That's past doubt. You have, or your eyeglass is thicker than a cuckold's horn. Or heard, for to a vision so apparent rumor cannot be mute. Or thought, for cogitation resides not in that man that does not think. My wife is slippery? If thou wilt confess, or else be impudently negative, to have nor eyes, nor ears, nor thought, then say my wife's a hobby horse. It deserves a name as rank as any flax wench that puts two before her troth plight. Say it and justify it.
I would not be a bystander to hear my sovereign mistress clouded so, without my present vengeance taken. Shrew my heart, you never spoke what did become you less than this, which to reiterate were sin as deep as that, though true.
Is whispering nothing? Is leaning cheek to cheek? Is meeting noses? Kissing with inside lip? Stopping the career of laughing with a sigh? A note infallible of breaking honesty? Horsing foot on foot? Skulking in corners? Wishing clocks more swift? Hours, minutes, noon, midnight, and all eyes blind with the pin and web, but theirs only that would unseen be wicked? Is this nothing? Why then the world and all that's in't is nothing. The covering sky is nothing. Bohemia, nothing. My wife is nothing, nor nothing have these nothings, if this be nothing.
Good my lord, be cured of this diseased opinion, and betimes, for 'tis most dangerous.
Say it be, 'tis true.
No, my lord.
It is. You lie. You lie. I say thou liest, Camillo, and I hate thee. Pronounce thee a gross lout, a mindless slave, or else a hovering temporizer, that canst with thine eyes at once see good and evil, inclining to them both. Were my wife's liver infected as her life, she would not live the running of one glass.
Who does infect her?
Why, he that wears her like a medal, hanging about his neck, Bohemia. Or who, if I had servants true about me that bear eyes to see alike mine honor as their profits, their own particular thrifts, they would do that which should undo more doing, I and thou his cupbearer, whom I from meaner form have benched and reared to worship, who may see plainly as heaven sees earth and earth sees heaven, how I am galled. Mightst espice a cup, to give mine enemy a lasting wink, which draught to me were cordial.
Sir, my lord, I could do this, and that with no rash potion, but with a lingering dram that should not work, maliciously like a poison. But I cannot believe this crack to be in my dread mistress, so sovereignly being honorable. I have loved thee.
Make that thy question and go rot. Dost think I am so muddy, so unsettled to appoint myself in this vexation, sully the purity and whiteness of my sheets, which to preserve is sleep, which being spotted is goads, thorns, nettles, tails of wasps, give scandal to the blood of the prince, my son, who I do think is mine and love as mine without right moving to it? Would I do this? Could man so blench?
I must believe you, sir. I do, and will fetch off Bohemia for it, provided that, when he's removed, your highness, will take again your queen as yours at first, even for your son's sake, and thereby for sealing the injury of tongues and courts and kingdoms, known and allied to yours.
Thou dost advise me even so as mine own course have set down. I give no blemish to her honor, none.
My lord, go then, and with a countenance as clear as friendship wears at feasts, keep with Bohemia and with your queen. I am his cupbearer. If from me he have wholesome beverage, account me not your servant.
This is all. Do it, and thou hast the one half of my heart. Do it not, and thou splitst thine own.
I'll do it, my lord.
I will seem friendly, as thou hast advised me.
Oh, miserable lady, but for me, what case stand I in? I must be the poisoner of good Polixenes, and my ground to do it is the obedience to a master, one who in rebellion with himself will have all that are his, so too, to do this deed, promotion follows. If I could find example of thousands that had struck anointed kings and flourished after, I'll not do it. But since nor brass nor stone nor parchment bears not one, let villainy itself forswear it. I must forsake the court. To do it, or no, is certain. To me a breakneck. Happy star, reign now. Here comes Bohemia. Scene.
Okay. That was Very powerful. Love that. It's always awesome when you know the randomness of the game. You don't know what's going to come up, but you can still jump into it. And even when people are even able to find costume pieces from the scene that they didn't know they were going to be performing until they came up on the wheels. That's great. So before we finish, Eleanor joined us too late. We missed her with the monologues. We'll go ahead and let her do her monologue now, and then we'll call it a day. So Eleanor's monologue will be. Friar Lawrence, Holy St. Francis. You know, maybe this is he's in love with Juliet after the friar thought he's still obsessed with Rosaline. He created the banner for.
Okay. Romeo and Juliet.
Short one, all rhyming couplets. Act 2, Scene 3.
Got it.
Okay. Go.
The gray-eyed morn smiles on the frowning night, checkering the eastern clouds with streaks of light and flecked darkness like a drunkard reels from forth day's path and tightens fiery wheels. Now, ere the sun advances, burning eye the day to cheer, and night's dank dew to dry, I must upfill this osier cage of ours with baleful weeds and precious juice and flowers. The earth that's nature's mother is her tomb, and what is her burying grave? That is her womb. And from her womb children of divers kind we, sucking on her natural bosom, find. Many for virtues excellent, none but for some, and yet all different. Oh, mickle is the powerful grace that lies in herbs, plants, stones, and their two qualities. For naught so vile that on the earth doth live, but to the earth some special good doth give, nor aught so good, but strained from that fair use, revolts from true birth, stumbling on abuse. Virtue itself turns vice, being misapplied, and vice sometimes by action dignified. Within the infant rind of this small flower, poison hath residence and medicine power. For this, being smelt with that part, cheers each part, being tasted, slays all sense with the heart. Two such opposed kings encamp them still in man, as well as herbs, grace and rude will. And where the worser is predominant, full soon the canker death eats up that plant.
Okay. Very nice. So, good performances from everybody today. It was a lot of fun. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you all again the same time next week on this channel when the Wheel of Shakespeare returns. Bye now.